Did you have some trepidation before you met him then?
I had trepidation about getting too close to him and ending up discussing politics.
For most fans, the memory of Ricky Nelson is fixed on an image, the perfectly coiffed teenage idol with a flawless voice and a dazzling, youthful smile. But actress Angie Dickinson experienced a side of him that was rarely seen by the public. Decades after their work on the classic Western Rio Bravo, Angie is finally sharing her candid perspective on his true nature behind the scenes. Beneath the polished exterior of a global star was a man who proved to be remarkably gentle, profoundly thoughtful, and genuinely kind. A quiet presence capable of dissolving set tension with an unprompted song or a simple, reassuring gesture. The impression Ricky left on Angie was indelible, a small but potent connection that shaped her perspective throughout her long and storied Hollywood career. It's time to reveal this extraordinary, yet seldom discussed story. In 1958, the dusty, sun-baked landscape of old Tucson studios became the birthplace of Rio Bravo, the setting for Angie Dickinson and Ricky Nelson's first meeting. An electric atmosphere charged the set as legendary director Howard Hawks assembled his powerful cast, which included seasoned giants John Wayne and Dean Martin. Dickinson and Nelson, two burgeoning talents, arrived ready to carve out their own space in the film. Angie took on the role of Feathers, a witty and strong character requiring a blend of resilience and charm, while Ricky played Colorado Ryan, a part that deliberately contrasted with his familiar, wholesome TV persona. Before the first take, a natural, easy camaraderie began to form among the company, rooted in a mutual professional respect and shared intrigue. This initial chemistry quickly matured into a dynamic that was both authentic and deeply engaging as filming progressed. Angie approached her performance with elegance and nuanced wit, absorbing Hawks's masterful guidance as she strived to infuse every moment with striking honesty. Ricky, in turn, provided an essential lightness to the picture. Whether he was delivering scripted lines or simply strumming his guitar during downtime, his warmth was a perfect foil to the film's underlying strain, ensuring the drama landed with maximum impact. This understated, affable energy extended to the entire crew. Despite his immense celebrity as the world's leading teen sensation, Ricky was never distant or arrogant. Angie often remembered how he'd spontaneously sing a tune or offer a soft smile between setups, helping to alleviate the strain of demanding, extended shooting days. Even John Wayne, a man known for his rigid, old-school professionalism, indulged Ricky's impromptu antics, patiently waiting as Angie refined her own performance. A profound sense of patience and mutual esteem permeated their interactions. Years later, Angie would emphasize that summer was a transformative period for her. Hawks's trademark, relaxed, unhurried pace allowed for greater refinement of her performance, facilitated by the bursts of laughter sparked by Ricky's playful interjections. The crew's collective spirit was one of quiet, effective collaboration. Angie regards these elements as absolutely crucial to the movie's enduring success. What began as a standard acting job evolved into a creative odyssey, solidifying her belief in how genuine, positive human interactions can elevate the art of filmmaking. Beyond the memorable scenes, Angie cherished the daily small rituals, the shared coffee early in the morning, finding a peaceful corner to review lines, and the gentle back-and-forth teasing while waiting for the technical team. These unassuming, spontaneous moments fostered a supportive sanctuary that made even the hardest days manageable. Angie stressed that this pervasive spirit of togetherness deeply affected her, demonstrating that movie-making could feel less like a demanding job and more like spending time with friends who truly cared for each other. Yet, there was an aspect of Ricky's character that captivated Angie most: one completely separate from the demands of the camera. When Angie Dickinson first encountered Ricky Nelson on the Rio Bravo location, his incredibly gentle and unpretentious demeanor instantly stood out. Nelson was already a massive cultural figure as a chart-topping recording artist and a television mainstay, yet he exhibited none of the ego or bluster one might have anticipated. Angie was immediately impressed by his openness, observing that for all his fame, he showed none of the reserve or snobbery often seen in young celebrities. This humility and genuine interest in the creative process made an immediate and positive impact as they began working on their scenes together. Ricky's tranquil demeanor served as a vital contrast to the more towering personalities of his co-stars. John Wayne commanded attention effortlessly, and Howard Hawks was known for his rigorous authority over every phase of production. In stark opposition, Ricky often kept to himself, frequently sitting slightly apart, softly strumming his acoustic guitar or humming quietly during breaks. His simple, easygoing manner established an informal, welcoming mood, making the set feel less like a strict hierarchy and more like an extended creative family working together toward a single purpose. As the weeks of shooting progressed, Angie's admiration for Ricky's dedication grew. Despite being just 18 years old and primarily celebrated for his music, Ricky demonstrated a level of professional focus that earned universal respect. Angie noticed he never leveraged his celebrity status, showing an eagerness to absorb every piece of advice offered by Hawks and the seasoned actors. She often spoke about his deep sincerity, noting that Ricky's priority was always perfecting the role, not protecting his public image. Years later in interviews, Angie would acknowledge that Ricky's presence influenced her own early career. His remarkably gracious conduct toward everyone, from principal actors to the lowest-ranking crew members, permanently colored her view of professionalism. For Angie, Ricky's appeal was not merely superficial charm. It was an expression of a grounded spirit and an authentic soul that was as real off-camera as it was on, a profound genuineness that remained with her throughout her life. Beyond his natural, effortless charm with the primary cast, Angie also recalled Ricky's quiet dedication to continuous learning during periods of rest. While much of the crew took traditional breaks, Ricky could be found observing the stunt team's routines, talking shop with the camera operators, or asking insightful questions about the lighting setups. Angie was astonished that instead of isolating himself, he showed a genuine curiosity about every facet of filmmaking. This drive for self-improvement, especially coming from someone already so wildly successful, convinced Angie that Ricky's involvement wasn't casual. His heart was truly committed to the entire craft. The professional relationship between Angie Dickinson and Ricky Nelson on Rio Bravo swiftly moved beyond simple pleasantries into true creative synergy. Even early in the production, Angie recognized that Ricky wasn't satisfied with merely reciting the written lines. He was fundamentally a collaborator, keen to explore subtle layers and nuances that would lend their characters greater realism. This collaborative energy distinguished them within a cast populated by legendary Hollywood figures and established an organic rhythm between them that infused their shared scenes with a memorable, natural spark. The strength of this partnership became most evident as they shared increasing amounts of screen time. Hawks deliberately fostered an environment that actively encouraged actors to listen intently to one another, and Ricky embraced this challenge fully. Between takes, he and Angie would discuss upcoming scenes, exchange thoughts on their respective characters, and gently suggest minor adjustments to each other's delivery. Ricky's receptivity to feedback and Angie's steady encouragement forged a quiet, deep trust that was reflected beautifully in their on-screen dynamic. What Angie admired above all was Ricky's remarkable talent for balancing his playful nature with serious commitment. Despite his limited experience in feature films, he treated every sequence with painstaking care. He never relied on his fame or celebrity status to carry his performance, willingly accepting Hawks's instructions and doing whatever was necessary for the film's betterment. This final combination of infectious enthusiasm and deep respect for the acting craft made him an invaluable anchor for Angie as they navigated their scenes. In subsequent years, Angie frequently cited their collaboration as one of the most seamless of her entire career. It was Ricky's unique gift to effortlessly put people at ease without ever sacrificing the intense focus required for excellent work, creating a profound bond and leaving Angie with incredibly pleasant memories of their time together. Decades later, the image of his ready smile and quiet determination is what remains, a testament that authentic screen magic often originates from mutual respect, shared effort, and a willingness to truly listen. Furthermore, Angie observed an innate generosity in Ricky that extended to everyone on the production, far beyond their professional rapport. It wasn't limited to thanking a camera grip for a clever setup or offering a word of comfort to a junior crew member during a long wait. Ricky's thoughtfulness touched every corner of the set. This consistent habit of valuing the entire production as one collaborative unit deepened trust and cemented Angie's conviction that Ricky was a talent, defined by his humble, cherished care for those around him. While most expected Ricky Nelson to adhere strictly to the script on Rio Bravo, he consistently surprised everyone with small, inspired personal choices that brought his character to life. Angie Dickinson often recounted that Ricky would inject an unscripted glance or a subtle, knowing smile into a scene, capturing a moment that felt completely spontaneous and honest. These minute, instinctive additions lent his performance a warm, authentic character that immediately set him apart from the typical teen idol roles he might have been slotted into elsewhere. One of the most lasting surprises was Ricky's effortless participation in the famous musical interlude with Dean Martin and Walter Brennan. Hawks had included the performance of My Rifle, My Pony and Me as a brief, relaxing respite from the plot's rising tension, and Ricky embraced it naturally. Angie remembered that while he generally kept to himself off-camera, the moment he picked up his guitar and began to sing, he slipped right into the group, as if they had been performing together for years. That understated confidence was both a pleasure to observe and a gift to work alongside. Away from the cameras, Ricky's surprises frequently manifested as quiet humor. Angie observed that he possessed an intuitive sense of timing, always knowing the precise moment to lighten the mood. He would deliver dry, concise one-liners that would elicit laughter from the crew, or he would simply hum a quiet tune while waiting for the next setup. His unique approach kept everyone easily comfortable and within reach. Even Howard Hawks, a director whose reputation was built on his tough, straightforward control of the set, came to appreciate Ricky's ability to read the atmosphere and provide a much-needed moment of levity. These delightful surprises, as Angie would often reflect, showcased Ricky's deeper qualities, his sensitivity, his grace, and his creative insight, without ever distracting from his famous persona. These small but deliberate contributions to the film vividly proved that Ricky was far more than simply a handsome face with a famous singing voice. Those surprises offered precious glimpses of the real man, quiet, talented, and whose lightness of spirit remained long after the cameras stopped rolling. Ricky had a distinct habit of quietly observing the technical work. He would linger to watch camera placement and ask thoughtful questions of the grips and sound engineers about their jobs. Angie felt this honest curiosity was exceptionally rare for a star of his magnitude, particularly one so young, and it fostered a welcoming, cooperative spirit of teamwork across the production. It was a clear indication of how deeply Ricky cared about every part of the filmmaking process, thereby earning a special level of respect not only from his fellow actors and the director, but from everyone behind the scenes. From the very beginning of the shoot, Ricky Nelson made an immediate, profound, yet subtle impact on the Rio Bravo crew. Angie Dickinson often shared that Ricky did not retreat to his private trailer between takes, as was the custom for many stars. Instead, he wandered the set, engaging easily in conversation with virtually anyone. Despite his enormous fame as a youth idol and TV personality, he was remarkably approachable. A young performer who treated every single person with the same fundamental courtesy, regardless of their rank on the set. This genuine generosity cultivated an atmosphere of strong camaraderie that persisted throughout the entire production. Angie noted that Ricky had a natural talent for boosting spirits when the demanding, extended hours started to take their toll. On especially grueling days, he might simply pick up his guitar and quietly play a few melodies, or share a gentle joke that cut through the tension without disrupting anyone's necessary focus. It was a subtle, yet powerful skill that was crucial for maintaining high morale and steady energy. Howard Hawks, a famously practical director, valued this quality in Ricky. Though Hawks was usually intolerant of distractions, he accepted Ricky's good-natured breaks as an integral part of keeping the set productive and cohesive. Angie vividly remembers watching Ricky check in on everyone, from the lighting grips to the stand-ins, consistently going out of his way to ensure they felt acknowledged and appreciated. This intrinsic humility and quiet warmth motivated people to deliver their absolute best work. Long after the film wrapped, Angie would speak of how surprising and affecting Ricky's influence was, one of the most treasured surprises of her career. While he was undeniably the biggest star present, Ricky never behaved like one. This served as a crucial lesson for Angie about the true meaning of leadership. All these decades later, Angie remembers that particular style of leadership. Not the loud, arrogant, ego-driven kind, but the humble, gentle approach. Ricky showed everyone that a truly good film is built upon caring for the people on the other side of the lens. Perhaps most indicative was Ricky's commitment to encouraging newer crew members who were just finding their footing in the industry. Angie remembers seeing Ricky engage with young assistants and apprentices in quiet, meaningful conversations, asking about their future aspirations and genuinely listening to their responses. These small acts of encouragement never made the headlines, but they established a lasting message that every set member mattered, an attitude that instilled greater confidence in everyone to excel in their roles. Yet, what truly defined Ricky was not just his set warmth. It was the extraordinary equilibrium he brought to every scene. When Angie Dickinson reflects on her collaboration with Ricky Nelson, one of the qualities she mentions first is his rare ability to perfectly balance intense focus with effortless fun. Even as a globally recognized teen sensation, Ricky approached his work on the Rio Bravo set with profound seriousness. Angie recalled that he was consistently punctual, polite to every single person, and remarkably quick to absorb Howard Hawks' complex directions. Despite his immense fame and young age, Ricky conducted himself like a seasoned professional who deeply respected the discipline of feature filmmaking. This serious dedication to his craft, however, was never rigid or unyielding. Angie noted that Ricky instinctively counteracted the hard work with a light, accessible humor that constantly brightened the entire atmosphere. While waiting for camera setups or the lighting crew to complete their adjustments, he might casually pick up his guitar and play a well-known tune, or softly tell a joke that would make everyone smile. These moments were not counterproductive distractions. Instead, they created a harmonious rhythm on set that effectively relieved tension, keeping the crew engaged and focused on the day's primary goals. Angie particularly valued how Ricky's light touch complemented her own dedicated approach to their shared scenes. Whether they were navigating playful romantic dialogue or intense dramatic exchanges, Ricky arrived fully prepared and ready to respond naturally to whatever energy she provided. His easygoing humor ensured their on-screen relationship remained unforced and natural, allowing them to successfully explore the new dimensions of their characters. As Angie looked back decades later, Ricky's innate capacity to switch seamlessly between discipline and play made him an absolute joy to work with. It is an uncommon skill for someone so young, and it left a unique and positive mark on everyone. Even now, that perfect balance remains for Angie one of Ricky's most memorable qualities, a potent reminder that the best artistic collaborators can find levity in serious work, and, in doing so, they elevate the performance of everyone around them. Above all else, Angie will remember that Ricky seized every opportunity to learn on the set. After the demanding work of a long shooting day, he could often be found asking quiet, well-considered questions about technical aspects, cinematography, or camera angles. As much as she was impressed by Ricky's sheer talent, Angie felt his eagerness to grow was even more striking. He wasn't merely performing a role, he was intent on becoming the most complete actor possible. Beyond the scenes captured by the cameras in Rio Bravo, Angie Dickinson and Ricky Nelson nurtured a friendship that was notably quiet, entirely genuine, and deeply significant. Angie recalled that, despite his worldwide status as a teenage idol, Ricky was accessible and unfailingly kind, treating every single person on the set, including her, as a true equal. Between equipment setups and wardrobe changes, they frequently found brief moments to chat, sharing stories about their radically different paths into the world of show business and offering each other encouragement through the inevitable long hours. That shared sense of camaraderie was especially comforting for Angie, who was still solidifying her position alongside industry titans like John Wayne and Dean Martin. Ricky, too, was traversing new territory, making a significant jump from his background in television and music into the demanding world of feature films. This mutual feeling of being the new kid forged a bond based on support and an easy, immediate understanding of each other's on-set anxieties. Angie spoke warmly of how Ricky never failed to check in on her, always greeting her with a warm smile or a gentle, well-timed joke. As their friendship deepened, they became each other's sounding boards on the set, someone reliable to turn to for a quick lift in morale or a sincere conversation away from the relentless spotlight. Angie appreciated Ricky's gentle humor most of all, noting that his off-screen personality was even more thoughtful and reserved than his public image suggested. It is a matter of record that, decades after the production, those seemingly minor acts of kindness and encouragement stand out in her memory as clearly as any major scripted scene. Reflecting on their time now, Angie genuinely considers Ricky one of the very kindest co-stars she ever had. After Rio Bravo, they rarely crossed paths professionally, but she always treasured that specific memory of their rapport. That enduring off-screen relationship, for Angie, serves as a powerful reminder that friendships forged on set often hold significant meaning long after the production concludes, a lasting tribute to Ricky's deep humility and the gentle, supportive way he engaged with the world. And there was a precious unspoken rhythm to their friendship that Angie treasured. a comfortable way they could simply enjoy each other's presence, without the pressure to fill every single second with conversation between takes. That rare kind of trust, Angie later mused, was a tremendous comfort, one that often spoke volumes without a single word being exchanged. For Angie Dickinson, the entire legacy of Rio Bravo is inextricably linked to the fundamental bonds she established during that pivotal time on set. Even over 60 years after the film's initial release, she continues to discuss those days with profound fondness. When appearing at film festivals or giving interviews, she consistently states that making Rio Bravo was one of the most significant professional experiences of her career, not just for its enormous commercial success, but because of the extraordinary people who profoundly shaped her during that formative period. In her deep reflections, Angie unequivocally celebrates Ricky Nelson as one of those key individuals. While most audiences remember him primarily as a teenage music icon, Angie describes him as a warm-hearted, insightful collaborator who completely surpassed all expectations. Even at age 18, Ricky was driven by a sincere dedication to his craft and an innate kindness that instantly put everyone at ease. Angie recalled that she witnessed this complete integrity every day, and it permanently redefined her view of an actor's role. That strong sense of mutual respect and shared humanity was a cornerstone of what made Rio Bravo such a unique creative undertaking. Angie frequently emphasizes that Howard Hawks cultivated an atmosphere that allowed every participant to do their best possible work, and Ricky's gentle, steady energy was perfectly suited for that creative environment. The result was not just a successful motion picture, it was a series of deep connections and treasured memories that continue to matter long after the final credits rolled. For Angie, reflecting on Rio Bravo today is a way to honor all those specific moments that helped form the artist and the person she is now. It teaches her that a true legacy is measured just as much in personal affection as it is in critical recognition or box office earnings. And it is Ricky's gentle presence, his willingness to both listen and grow alongside the entire team, that now stands for Angie as one of her most cherished professional lessons, that indeed, those smallest gestures from the heart have the power to create the most timeless impact. Angie also notes how every time Rio Bravo has been screened for new generations at festivals and special events throughout the years, those cherished memories remain vivid and alive. Each time the film is seen, Angie is proud to feel that audiences are still able to recognize the heartfelt collaboration that went into its making, especially the gentle, cooperative spirit that Ricky added to the set. This continuous connection between the past and the present constantly reminds her that a genuinely great film never loses its beautiful, essential warmth, regardless of how much time has passed since its creation. When the public thought of Ricky Nelson in the late 1950s, their minds conjured images of the chart-topping singer or the star of The Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet. But on the set of Rio Bravo, Angie Dickinson was exposed to a remarkably different dimension of his personality. Instead of trading on his fame or projecting a flashy celebrity image, Ricky arrived as an eager student of filmmaking, respectful and deferential to the seasoned actors and crew who had been making movies long before his stardom. More fundamentally, Ricky possessed a quiet sensitivity that was entirely absent from his public persona. Angie spoke fondly of his easy, gentle humor, his intuitive sense of timing both on and off camera, and his natural gift for making everyone around him feel completely at ease. To Angie, this inner depth revealed an artist far more complex than the light-hearted image presented in fan magazines, someone who truly cared for his chosen art and for the colleagues he shared the experience with. Over 6 decades later, Angie maintains that Ricky's lasting legacy is larger and richer than most people know. Ricky Nelson was not simply a teen idol. He was a kind, gentle soul, a deeply thoughtful and supremely collaborative partner who left an indelible mark on Rio Bravo and on all those fortunate enough to work alongside him. For Angie, Ricky's true legacy is defined by the respect, talent, and quiet humanity he brought to the screen. That, she emphasizes, is the quality that truly deserves to be remembered. Angie also pointed out that, beyond his inherent talent and work ethic, Ricky was genuinely interested in the personal stories of everyone's lives. For Angie, these small, considerate conversations demonstrated a generosity of spirit that was one of Ricky's defining characteristics. Ricky's inherent commitment to honesty and authenticity also reflected a broader cultural shift then occurring in the Hollywood landscape. Film historian Peter Biskind suggests that this era, in the late 1950s, marked the emergence of a new generation of young actors, like Ricky, beginning to break away from the rigid studio-controlled star system in favor of a more sincere, collaborative approach. Ricky's desire to learn his craft and forge real connections was perfectly aligned with this new wave of down-to-earth performers. But, as Angie looks back, there is one surprising personal insight that has only recently come to light. In recent, more intimate interviews, Angie Dickinson has spoken about Ricky Nelson in a way that is far more personal than ever before, sharing deep reflections that move beyond the well-worn anecdotes of Hollywood history. She has always acknowledged Ricky's raw talent and his easygoing temperament, but only in her later years has she spoken candidly about the lasting personal impression he left on her as a person. It wasn't a detail she felt compelled to highlight earlier, but the passage of time has only deepened her appreciation for who he truly was off-camera. One specific insight Angie has chosen to finally share is Ricky's pervasive, quiet sense of humility, a trait that struck her as exceptionally rare even at the time. Angie recalled that this fundamental attitude fostered an unexpected closeness between them, a bond built on genuine mutual respect rather than the typical power dynamics that celebrity could easily have imposed. In revisiting these cherished memories, Angie now paints a more detailed, vivid picture of their creative partnership and friendship. Ricky was not just a famous singer tentatively exploring acting. He was a sincere, dedicated collaborator who showed up for both the work and the people around him with grace and profound kindness. Angie remembered that such free-heartedness and emotional accessibility defined her earliest professional experiences and will forever remain in her mind as the foundation for the ideal set environment. Angie now feels that perhaps sharing these candid words will inspire people to view Ricky in a more authentic, truer light. His openness and quiet playfulness ultimately mattered much more than any of his commercial accomplishments, and this essential recognition makes his legacy far fuller and richer for those willing to look closely. To honor Ricky, for Angie, is therefore to honor all the depth, grace, and subtle humor he infused into every scene and every relationship, qualities that continue to inspire her long after their joint work concluded. In a rare, deeply moving personal moment, it is these small, unpromoted acts of personal kindness that Angie now cherishes above all else from their years together. These deeds were never mentioned in any press story or captured on film. They were simply Ricky being Ricky, authentic, deeply kind, and eternally gracious. Cultural historians have also noted that Ricky's reputation for genuine warmth did not end with Rio Bravo. A recent Variety article discussing Angie Dickinson's career corroborated that other actors who worked with Ricky frequently commented that, even in his later guest appearances and television specials, he remained a reserved, gentle presence who never allowed fame to eclipse basic human decency. From the crew of The Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet, one recollection surfaced of him sharing his own sandwiches while quietly chatting with sound technicians and extras about their respective hometowns. And that is the full, heartfelt story behind Angie Dickinson and Ricky Nelson's remarkable time together on Rio Bravo. If this story resonated with you, don't forget to hit the like button, drop a comment sharing your favorite memory of Ricky Nelson's career, and subscribe for more deep dives into classic Hollywood history. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.